Whom shall I send? Who will go for us? I spoke up, I'll go, send me. I'm Conor Schneider, a senior at Canisius High School, and in the spring of 2014, I found myself answering that call when I went on a service immersion trip to New Orleans, Louisiana. On my trip, we stayed at St. Jude Community Center, which is an outreach of Our Lady of Guadalupe Church that provides generous service to the poor and homeless of the community. The center is located near the French Quarter and is entirely operated by volunteers. One of those volunteers who lives and works at the center is Leonard. Leonard has been living at the center ever since Hurricane Katrina destroyed his home in 2005. One night, after a long day of working at a Habitat house in the lower 9th Ward, which was the hardest hit area of New Orleans after the hurricane, Leonard dug out some old pictures that he had taken of the aftermath of the storm. What I saw in these pictures was absolutely heartbreaking. Massive amounts of debris and pile of rubble that used to be his home. Instead of worrying about his own losses, Leonard selflessly devoted his time to helping others. His dedication to restoring his city and his neighbors truly inspired me by the way he answered God's call to help others restore their homes and lives. Amidst all the devastation and tragedy, the community came together and rebuilt their church and city. Not only did the building in the city need restored, but the spirits and the hearts of the people need to be restored as well. It takes a long time, but through God and the strength of the people, anything is possible. To this day, the effects of the hurricane are still very visible in New Orleans. However, only over the past decade, the amount of homeless has rapidly dropped from almost 12,000 right after the storm to approximately 2,300 today. Clearly, restoration does not happen overnight, nor does it happen in a day, month, or year. Yet after everything these people have gone through and everything they have lost, they have never lost hope. I witnessed their hope at their Easter celebration. Their parish family is one of the liveliest and joyous congregations I've ever witnessed in my whole life. Their Easter Mass was so exuberant and life-giving that one would have never known that just a decade ago, a natural disaster almost wiped out half of the city. What I witnessed in New Orleans reminded me of my parish's merger back in 2008, at the time when many parishes began to close and merge in our diocese. My parish of St. George was no exception. Our parish merged with Our Lady of the Sacred Heart in the neighboring town of Colden, keeping our building in West Falls as the new church. Although the merger was not a natural disaster like Hurricane Katrina, there was a lot of turmoil with strong emotions, frustrations, and hurt feelings. In this case, St. George's priest, Father Walter Cesny, was reassigned, Our Lady of Sacred Heart lost her church, and our current pastor, Father Pat Eppolito, lost his church, St. Catherine of Siena. As one might assume, the transition was not very smooth due to all of the hurt feelings. As a result, members of our new church family began to leave. However, several of the core members of our church never lost faith, determined to make the changes work and unite the remaining members of our church family. In 2012, our parish celebrated the 100th anniversary of our Memorare Chapel and the founding of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. I thought this celebration would be the perfect opportunity to try and restore our parish family. That is when I stepped up and got involved in the planning of the celebration. I thought of an idea to create a postcard invitation to send to all the former parishioners who had left our parish during the merger in an attempt to reach out to them. It was my hope that they would have the feeling of returning home and letting go of all the hurt that separated us. I didn't have high expectations that people would come running back, but to my surprise, a considerable number of people had returned. Just as I experienced God's power of restoring love in New Orleans, I also witnessed that same power at St. George as the people came back together to form a new community and grow together in faith. As I reflected upon these two events, I've come to the realization that everyone is part of something that is greater than themselves. Like a mosaic or a stained glass window, each individual piece is beautiful in and of itself, but until all the pieces are together, you cannot see the complete beauty of the window. We are the piece of the glass that God's love shines through to restore and renew the world. Just as Leonard brought hope to his community in New Orleans, and my parish family came together in faith, we are all called to use our unique gifts to make the church whole. Not the physical church building, but the community of people who work together for the greater glory of God. Teenagers will get these pieces of plastic in your small groups shortly. Take them home to remind you of everything we prayed and learned this weekend. These represent the piece of glass your piece of glass in the window, your unique gifts and talents. What other pieces exist in each of your communities that you need to combine with to create a mosaic for God to shine through and restore others? I'd like to leave you with these words of promise from the book of Deuteronomy. God, your God, will restore everything you lost. He will have compassion on you. He will come back and pick up the pieces from all the places where you were scattered. No matter how far away you end up, God, your God, will get you out of there and bring you back home. God is going to do that restoring through us, his disciples. Please keep looking for ways to help him bring others home. Thank you.